Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Jay and May English Podcast. I'm Mr. J, and as always, I'm joined by the ever-energetic May.
Hi, everyone. I am feeling great today, Mr. J. I'm especially excited because today we're talking about something that makes a huge difference in how we sound when we speak English.
That's right. Today we're moving beyond the textbook. You see, many of our listeners know their grammar and they have a good vocabulary, but they often tell us, Mr. J, I still feel like I sound like a robot.
Oh, I totally understand that. I remember when I was first learning, I was so worried about being correct that I would pause for a long time, like a computer loading a web page. It created these really awkward silences.
Exactly. That is what we call the textbook trap. Today, we're going to teach you the glue that holds English conversations together. These are small words and phrases called fillers and active listening techniques.
Glue. I love that. It makes the conversation sticky and smooth instead of broken and robotic. So, Mr. J, where do we start?
Let's start with fillers. Now, some teachers say fillers are bad, but in real life, native speakers use them all the time. The main reason we use them is to gain thinking time. It lets the listener know, I'm still talking, I just need a second to find the right word.
That is so helpful because usually when I stop to think, the other person thinks I'm finished and starts talking. Then we both talk at the same time.
Precisely. Here are a few tone-setting fillers to get us started. Well, actually, and to be honest, we use these to start a sentence while our brain is still catching up.
Okay, let me try. If you ask me if I like spicy food, I could say, well, actually, I love it, but only if I have a glass of water nearby.
Perfect use of fillers. You can also use phrases to buy time for more difficult questions. For example, let me think, or that's a good question.
I love that's a good question. It makes me sound like I'm really considering what the other person said, but really, I'm just searching for my words.
It's a classic trick. Let's look at how much of a difference this makes. May, let's do a quick demonstration. I'm going to ask you about your favorite city. First, answer me without any fillers, like a textbook.
Okay, ready.
May, what is your favorite city?
My favorite city is Tokyo. It is very big. The food is good. I want to go back.
See, it's grammatically correct, but it feels a bit stiff. Now let's try it again. This time, use those fillers we just talked about.
Okay, let's try.
May, what is your favorite city?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me think. Well, I'd have to say Tokyo. Actually, I love how busy it is, and to be honest, the sushi there is the best I've ever had.
Wow, do you hear the difference? It sounds so much more natural and relaxed. You're using those words to bridge the gaps between your thoughts.
It really does feel more natural. It's like I'm actually talking with someone, not just reciting a book.
Exactly. But natural conversation isn't just about what you say when it's your turn to speak. It's also about what you do when the other person is talking. This is what we call active listening.
Oh, I know this one. In some cultures, it's polite to be very quiet while the other person talks. But in English, if you are totally silent, the speaker might think you aren't listening, or worse, that you're bored.
Spot on, May. In English, listening isn't silent. It's an active participation. We use small reaction phrases to show we are following the story and that we care about what is being said.
Like when I say, right, or I totally get that. I use those all the time when I agree with my friends.
Those are perfect for agreement or support. It's like giving the speaker a little thumbs up with your voice. But what if I told you something shocking? For example, May, I saw a tiger in the park this morning.
Then I would definitely need the surprise reactions. I'd say, no way, or are you serious? If it's something really crazy, I might even say, that's wild.
That's wild is a great one for everyday English. But we also need to be careful with our friends' feelings. If I told you I lost my keys and was late for work, what would you say?
I'd use empathy. I'd probably say, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, or that must have been tough. It shows I'm not just hearing the words, but I'm feeling the situation with you.
Exactly. It builds a bridge between the two speakers. Now, let's talk about a big problem for many learners, the one-word answer.
Oh, I used to do that all the time. Someone would ask, "Did you have a good weekend?" And I would just say, "Yes." Then the conversation just died.
That is exactly why we teach the add-on strategy. The goal is to never give a one-word answer.
It sounds simple, but it can be hard when you're nervous. How does it work exactly?
It's a simple formula. Question, answer, extra detail. So if I ask you, May, do you like cooking? Don't just say yes. Give me that extra detail.
Okay, let me try. Yes, I love cooking, and actually, I just learned how to make a really great pasta sauce last night.
Perfect. By adding that extra detail about the pasta, you've given me something to ask about next. I could ask, oh, what kind of sauce? Or is it a family recipe? The conversation keeps moving naturally.
It's like throwing a ball back and forth. If I just say yes, I'm dropping the ball. If I add a detail, I'm throwing the ball back to you.
That is a perfect way to look at it. So we've talked about fillers to help you think and active listening to keep the connection strong.
I feel much more confident already. I think I'm ready to put all of this together in a real conversation.
I think so too. Why don't we try a real-life scenario to see how these fillers and reactions work together in the wild?
I'm ready. Let's do it. I'll start. Hey, Mr. J, how was your weekend? Did you do anything fun?
Well, to be honest, it was a bit exhausting. I actually spent all of Saturday cleaning out my garage.
No way. The whole Saturday? That must have been tough.
It was. I found things in there I forgot I even owned. But let me think. Oh, on Sunday, I went to that new Italian cafe downtown. The coffee was amazing, and they have a beautiful outdoor garden.
I bet. I've heard so many good things about their garden. I totally get why you went there. It's so peaceful. Actually, I was thinking of going there next week.
You should, but it gets very crowded, so I'd suggest going early.
Are you serious? Thanks for the tip. I'll make sure to be there by 9 a.m.
And scene. Let's stop there and look at what we did.
That felt so much more like a real conversation. I used "no way" for surprise, and I totally get why, to show I was listening.
And I used well and actually to give myself a second to remember my Sunday plans. We also used the add-on strategy. Instead of just saying I went to a cafe, I added a detail about the garden, which gave you something to react to.
It's amazing how those tiny words, the glue, make everything feel less like a test and more like a chat between friends.
Exactly. And as you get more comfortable with these basics, you can start using what we call sophisticated transitions.
Ooh, that sounds interesting. Like what?
In our next level, we will talk about words like furthermore, conversely, or looking at it from another perspective. These help you sound even more professional.
I can't wait for that. But for now, I'm going to practice my "no way" and "I bet" every chance I get.
That is the perfect goal. In fact, that is our challenge for all of you listening today. Try to use at least one active listening phrase in your next English conversation.
We would love to hear how it goes. Please comment below and let us know which phrase you used. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you never miss a lesson.
This was episode 1 of our Foundation series. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to stay tuned for episode 2, where we will dive even deeper into making your English sound natural.
Yes, don't miss episode 2. It's going to be great. Remember, English is a journey. Let's talk it through together. See you in the next episode.
Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.